Alright, hey, this video is just a strategy video to show all usually the lower tier players that you don't have to sink the enemy to win a game. There is strategy. Now there's a minor playback bug on this recording. The mini-map shows no islands, but this is very obviously the neighbor's map. So this is me in the Bayern. I'm headed off to the west. We've just had contact with the enemy, and we are firing, of course. At this point in the battle, it's all pretty straightforward. I'll give you some close-ups here of what we're doing. That should be the Edinburgh. That's a good looking shot. Yeah, only did 1,000 damage though. That was an overpin. Now by now on the mini-map you can clearly see that the enemy team is staying fairly well grouped and pushing in pretty much the same direction. Meanwhile, our team is not. We've got 3 guys way off to the east pushing north. They can count. They know there's nobody up there. And it's a tie game, basically. One ship down on either side. There's a nice Citadel hit. So I go back to external view. And still, so far, it's basically a tie game. But that's going to change. Usually, players at low tiers are in it to sink as many enemy ships as possible. And usually by the higher tiers, they realize it's not necessarily about sinking enemy ships who gets the final kill, but how much damage you can inflict. And that's also about the same time that they start to realize, you know what, there's got to be a little more strategy to this game than just dealing damage and sailing in groups, and there is. Now, our friendly battleship there has managed to sail nose first into an island, so they are going to absolutely cream him. And as you can see, the enemy has lost 4 ships to R2. And there are 3 enemies focusing at me. It's time for me to get the heck out of here, because they are going to pulverize me. I should have got going a little bit sooner. But still, we've only lost 2 ships to their 4. We're way ahead on points, 436 to 281. But I am getting hurt pretty badly. I've gone from full health to about 60% health. Make that half. I gotta get behind this island and start healing. Hopefully they won't put me on fire. Nah, they put me on fire. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that fire out and start the healing process. But now that I've used my damage repair capability and put the fire out, I'm not going to be able to do that for a minute 45 here. Still, the enemy has lost 4 ships. We've lost 2. We're way ahead on points. So now the enemy Gneisenau has spotted me. And my turrets are turning too slowly. And I forgot something about the Gneisenau. He's got torpedoes. So I'm going to try and dodge as many of them as I can. I'll wind up getting hit only by 1, but he got me in my rudder. And I can't repair that. And my rudder's jammed. Even though it shows 0 on the screen, I'm actually jammed. You can see my ship turning. So I am trying to open fire, get my turrets turned around, but it's going to be forever for those turrets to turn around. And by then, of course, I'm going to be toast. Yep, I'm toast. Alright, so we still are in the lead, even though I'm dead and buried. We got 1 cruiser out here in Omaha, and he's a cruiser, and he's got 3 enemy battleships bearing down on him. He ain't gonna last, and I think he knows it. Meanwhile, our team, if you look off to the east, is finally organizing itself and moving in. We still hold the lead in ships. Now, that poor Omaha just took 2 hits to the fantail and wiped out a lot of points. It must have hit his citadel. Now those torps only have a 5.5 kilometer range, so that was a desperation shot. And these shots will finish him. So now it's 4 against 4. And the enemy is now pulled ahead on points. Somehow we have snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. So our friends are moving in. We got, remember, see that Kirov in the middle of the screen, Fat Leonard? Pay attention to him. Remember, he's at almost full health right now. And that Atlanta can really lay out the fire, but something must have been wrong with his controls. When you see his shots ring out, you'll know something's up. Our team is focusing fire on this New Mexico. The first salvo from the Atlanta is decent, but look at where those land, and where those land, and where those land. Something was going on. But the Gneisenau is going to finish off the Atlanta. Boom. So now it's 3 enemies against 2 of our guys. And the enemy team has pulled a sizable lead ahead of us. Now our Colorado down by H67 is heading south. There's an island down there he wants to get behind. And look what happened to Fat Leonard. He's almost dead. He must have gotten hit by their New Mexico. But this is where strategy comes into play. The enemy ships are going for the nearest target. They're going for our Colorado. They're not paying any attention to the Kirov run by Fat Leonard. Look where Leonard's going. we'll go take a closer look. So there's Fat Leonard, almost dead, but he is on a beeline heading straight for the enemy cap. You don't always win by dealing damage to the enemy. Sometimes you win with careful strategy. So let's get back down to here where our Colorado Rev is taking a beating. Against a New Mexico that is basically a damage sponge. A Gneisenau with less armor than the New Mexico but better guns. And there's a Bayern that's about to pop up, which has got decent armor and good guns. 3 against 1. I think you know where this is going. Last time it was 3 against 1, that was me. And you saw what happened to me. That was a Citadel. And he's putting up a fight. But it's all over. But by letting the enemy chase him on his merry way, the enemy is hell and gone from being able to even take a shot at this Kirov. They have no prayer. Plus, they're not even in the cap. The enemy has no chance of winning this game. None. Even though they're ahead on points. Substantially ahead on points. When this Kirov takes the cap, you're going to see our points jump from whatever it is all the way up to 1,000 in a heartbeat. That is strategy. Good game. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and have fun.